Welcome back to the show. It's me, Hugh, and we've got Seth Toy joining us. Came in all the way from Listowel today.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And we have took some screenshots of some of your art, and we're going to see some of that stuff. But we were just talking about you were originally from Listowel, and you've been doing gardening.
Yeah, just gardening, growing vegetables and herbs just outside of Stratford, Ontario.
Yeah. How much, how much land do you have?
Right now it's roughly in between 3 and 5 acres.
That should be enough, right?
Yeah, lots.
You should be able to grow
We're
everything.
doing it all by hand, so.
Yeah. I've seen some stuff lately, like videos like on YouTube with these guys. Like
Right.
There's one guy in Kelowna that's doing urban gardening by doing it on other people's yards.
Yep.
Some guy in LA was on a tiny city lot, was growing enough food for his whole family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, are you into that kind of, I don't know what you call that, permaculture or...
Yeah, I'll be getting into that more self. Like, it's more about just like being self-sustaining and I guess kind of giving back to the earth a little bit.
Yeah.
Not, because we don't use a lot of equipment. It's more just like pick and shovel kind of. So
Yeah.
we're just taking care of the 3 to 5 acres by hand.
Yeah.
And just keeping a close eye, weeding by hand, and just taking it slow.
And building the soil naturally,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. Just about enjoying life, really.
That's great.
And we do runs up to Toronto usually once a week, but we're coming near the end of the season as we're getting the hard freezes now and the below zero temperatures. So
You mean runs bringing food in and doing farmers markets or something?
right, yeah. Well, we drop off. There's a place in Toronto called Fresh City,
Okay.
Fresh City Market, and they put together like bag lunches and stuff. And then I just make, I just do a bit of processing of the herbs and jalapenos. Like I just made homemade hot sauce, so I'll be marketing that next year. And then that's aside from my art, so
Yeah.
just
Well, we're
keeps
gonna-
the bills paid.
Is that okay if we're going to look at the art in a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
but I'm just
yeah.
fascinated with all this farming stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want to do the same. But I don't have that much land living in the city and everything. But just curious, do you have any fruit trees or anything like that?
Fruit trees?
Yeah.
I think there's an apple tree on the farm, and then like my grandma, she has a pear tree. Then we have friends of the family, they have cherry trees, and then there's like, you'd actually be surprised at how many people, even around the city, have fruit trees, but they don't harvest it. Mm-hmm. And so I want to look to putting together like some sort of group or organization where there'd be like a group of people that would go around to those people's houses, harvest the fruit for them, but then give back to them as well. So like either making like homemade pies or
Yeah.
whatnot. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know we used to have a pear tree, and the pears would just fall off at the end of the year because we didn't spray it or anything.
Right.
They get worms, and
yes,
then they just fall. And
start to
we ate a couple, and that's about it, right?
right.
But such a waste, and it's so good to. I mean, it must be really rewarding to be doing that work with your hands in the soil and
Yeah.
making your own food. And
Yep. Yeah, because there's a lot of nutrients that you even just from getting your hands dirty or even your feet dirty. There's so much nutrients. Like our feet are the biggest body part on the human body that it's the least taken care of, but we use them the most. And so it's just realizing just how things work and
yeah,
just enjoying life that much more.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not going to work in a factory.
So how did you find yourself going into that approach, that lifestyle approach? Were you always like that, or?
No, because actually, like growing up in Listowel, it's a rural community, so a lot of farmers around. But I don't know if it was from getting picked on, like going through high school. I just didn't like the whole farming. I thought they were really ignorant and stubborn a lot of the times. But just after just getting out of high school and I guess, slowly becoming more of an adult, I was hitchhiking by choice. Like, I wasn't abandoned on the street or anything. But, so hitchhiking by choice, and then just getting a feel for nature that way, just on my own. And I lived in Kitchener about 5 years ago for just over a year and a half. And I just didn't like the whole vibe.
The city vibe.
Yeah, the city vibe. So just kind of, and then so after that, I did go to school to be like a mason, stone mason, and then broke my hand, and I had to work for 2 weeks before I could get laid off with a broken hand. So just, I was like, I have to do something more so for myself. And I thought farming, like my grandpa was a farmer and my opa, they were farmers, but just something more self-sustaining, not so much not so much with livestock, just rural and using the land that you have.
Yeah, because I guess the trend has really been in Ontario anyway, probably all over Canada.
Yes.
For larger and larger acreages,
Yep.
less labor per acre, more chemicals, more machinery, and that more monoculture and that sort of thing. But you see you see how when you can really apply your brain power and your personal manpower to a small acreage, how productive you can be, right? Like it's, and I hear what you're saying about like you're probably talking about just your typical farmers, right? And that culture, right? But it's really a different approach than that kind of like, well, we need more acreage.
No.
We need to buy a big tractor and all that stuff, right?
Kind of try and stay small.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we really need to do is start to have smaller plots of land and get more people out of the city, small plots, hands in the soil.
Yeah.
And being productive, but also respectful to the soil, right? Because I think these industrial farming practices are kind of ruining the soil.
Oh yeah, they are for sure.
Yeah. So what kind of stuff do you produce?
There's quite a bit. Like we're pulling out carrots, and we just finished up with radishes and beets. So we're just getting down to like carrots and turnip right now. But there's like bok choy, Chinese greens or salad greens, lettuce, Chinese lettuce. Then there's like herbs, lots of peppers. I'm processing a bunch of savory and thyme at home right now. So summertime and wintertime, which actually kind of sounds funny. But and then there's the summer savory. And so then I just dry those out, make spices. And then, just trying to sell those on the side of my art. So
that's pretty cool. So how does the art work in or figure in with the farming stuff?
I find like art's almost kind of like life. Like I find it helps people breathe and like just reconnect with themselves. It's a different medium of expressing oneself, like either through writing, so painting, like very expressionistic. And growing up, I didn't even realize this, but how much, I guess, like anger that gets built up inside it does come out through your art, even though there's like a deeper meaning behind whatever you're painting, or like a deeper story. But a lot of people would say like a lot of your art is dark, and I was like, yeah, but there's like a good side to it as well. Like there's two sides to.
Well, why don't we pull one up?
Yeah,
and talk
sure,
about it.
For
Maybe
sure.
One of the two you brought in that we took a picture. Well, here's the website, or some on the website. If you want to pick one and talk about it,
Sure.
and then we'll stop it. And how about this one here? What is that? Is that graffiti?
Yeah, I'm a graffiti artist as well. So this is actually, that was actually down in Elora. and I don't vandalize people's property. I figure, well, this is just a concrete wall.
Yeah.
So I pretty much look at it as like decorating, just the same as like you would when you move into a house. You paint the walls. The next person comes along, they paint or they put their mark onto the same space.
Mm-hmm. So okay, so you did this one?
Yeah, it says Toy,
Oh, okay.
and that's what I go by, Seth Toy. And I pretty much use the term toy to for a name to express my graffiti work. Excuse me, because in the graffiti world, a lot of people, they'll call new artists a toy because they think that they're fake,
Oh yeah.
and so they call them toys.
This is in the graffiti world?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In reference, saying like, so they'll come in after you paint over your name with their tag, pretty much like calling you out. But toy, I pretty much figure everyone, you have to start off somewhere, right? And you learn from your mistakes.
Right.
So
So you're just kind of
just trying to give it like a better meaning.
right. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. What is it with those? I mean, you see a lot of graffiti, and it is text, but it's a kind of text that a lot of people can't figure. Like, I mean, you know, it's kind of hard to see toy in that. What is that whole thing about the text that's kind of code in a way because you can't necessarily really identify the letters?
It's definitely different with every artist, and there's a lot of different wild styles, like, or different styles of graffiti. And then, do you got a drink of water by chance? Sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to. Joseph, can you
But
get some water, or tell him to get some water, please, for Seth?
yeah, so it's kind of like, yeah, like code. A lot of people in the graffiti world that do tags, a lot of it's gang related, and that's why they look down upon graffiti artists, because it's all a battle and competition.
Do you even get gang related stuff out in?
No, not in Listowel.
Okay, good.
No,
Or Elora?
you have to come up to the city for that.
Oh yeah. Okay. But that's not what you're doing. So let's have a look at the ones that we shot here that you brought in today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at that. Now is a good time. Just waiting for Joseph to bring up that painting, and then we can have a look at it.
Awesome, thank you.
One of these minutes now, we'll have a look at that painting, and then we can take a look at what it looks like. We'll fix this in editing. Now this one here, this is really a detail from that long piece, right, Seth?
Right, yes.
And I can see how some people, it looks kind of scary.
Yeah. This piece in particular actually has to do with just people in general and people that are in relationships or partners. It has to do with working together, so you can either work together and create something beautiful, or you just, with how you correspond with one another, you can bring each other down and just put someone into a really dark place.
Right.
And that's why the figure in the background, he's surrounded by dark, but then there's also a bit of light illuminating behind that. So regardless of any situation that you're into, there's always an opening or room to break out of that, and you don't need to stay in those negative spaces or areas.
Have you had that on a personal level, that been through that kind of
Oh yeah, very much so. Growing up, my I guess was kind of like verbally and physically abused growing up. But anyways, so you kind of, without even realizing, like, because while growing up, bad things may happen, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be like that person, or I don't want to be like my parents in that aspect or in that way. And I guess it's just kind of realizing also what those people may be going through. Mm-hmm. So not to take things too far, like too over the border, but yeah, I just really had to take time and just work on myself rather than look at how other people are treating you. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
So I would always like go into like my own kind of special place, like draw, doodle, or do coloring books and stuff, and then just so like now I'm working on like a book on the side. Well, actually a couple books. One's a picture book to do with gardening, and then also a small novel, just kind of explaining just things like with growing up, so maybe I can like help shed some light in other people's lives that way. And that's kind of why I work at my art like so much, like doing gardening like sometimes 13 hours a day, and then going home and still working on art or working on your book. Yeah, I just really want to help other people, so just like work, and it's just like I don't have a full-time job. It's just means to get by, just to pay the small bills that I have. So
that's cool. Sounds like a great lifestyle, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad. So it's been a long way. It's been a long journey. So
yeah, I know. Okay, we got another one that you brought here today. Let's have a look at that one. Yeah, maybe you can just talk about this one here.
Yeah, this one's actually called a self-portrait. And I like using shapes a lot. And so I kind of accentuated the eyes and gave them a lot of detail because I find there's a lot of life. But then I gave the nose kind of like a skull nose, I guess, just with how you may perceive yourself. Sometimes may not be the greatest, but overall, like the eyes and the bright colors, like everyone's beautiful. So regardless of how you perceive yourself, it's good not to be so harsh on yourself all the time. So that's why I used a lot of the bright colors, and like my mouth is like clenching his teeth, because maybe it's like a tough time, but through those tough times, that's when you're actually truly able to grow. Yeah. So it's just like kind of like biting the grit, just getting through it.
Right.
And all the shapes and bright colors is just looking inside of you, because there is a lot of good within everyone, even if they're just showing anger at the time that you're interacting with those people. So it's really good to not judge others and just to kind of listen and be aware that we all go through stuff.
Now you're going to have, you're going to be participating in the Raw Artist Show coming up?
Yes, next Friday on the 16th.
So you'll be there on the Friday. Are you going to have a table or a booth or whatever they...
Yeah, I'll have a small table and I'll have a booth set up with my art hanging.
So that's cool, so people can get their hands on some of it.
Yes, hopefully.
Are you going to bring any vegetables that day?
No, I don't think that.
That's a different
Maybe
group.
just for myself.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So, and then And obviously, you mentioned you're working on the books now. So is
Mm-hmm.
that a new direction that you're going in as well?
Yeah, just I've always wanted to write a book, and I actually, within a couple paintings, I put just a couple sayings saying, one day there'll be a book written about me, one day there'll be a book written about me, one day there'll be a book written about me. And then in the last little paraphrase, it says, one day I'll write a book about me. So it's just kind of about saying, don't wait for others to recognize you. Just pull that recognition. If you see it within yourself, then it's there. So act upon those instances and make it happen. So I just kind of took it upon myself to start these couple books, and like the one I said is a photo book. And I have my cousin, he lives in China, teaches English, and he said he can help me out with the publishing. So I'll be able to get some cheap publishing that way. So just trying to make things happen that.
Cool. Sounds good. So so people can check you out on the 16th at the
Yes.
Mod Club. And do you have a website or something for your artwork that...
Right now I just go through like Facebook and Instagram, and then
Okay.
as well as Twitter. And if people want to contact me either through my cell phone or via email.
Do you want to give out an email address?
Yeah,
maybe,
it's
just
Seth Sikma, so SETHSIKMA.SDS@gmail.com.
SDS
Yeah.
at gmail.com.
Yeah, and it's just my middle initials, Seth Daniel Sikma.
And so if people also on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, they just look up Seth Toy? Is that what the
Yep.
best thing to do?
Yep,
Okay.
for sure.
All right. It's been great, Seth. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
and have this
thanks for having me.
conversation. So stuff looks great, and
Thank you.
envious lifestyle. So all the best with all that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take a little break here. Be back with more here on thatchannel.com.